Welcome to the MLB Desk podcast with your host, Alec Pickett. Today on the show, it is weekend preview time. Got some good pitching matchups, some good series, as well as I will also be breaking down the injury to Robbie Snelling and giving you my fantasy baseball waiver wire 2.0 and a lot more. Let's get started here with the weekend series preview first. Friday games. So tomorrow night we've got the Phillies and the Pirates starting a 3-game set at 6:40. The pitching matchup is Braxton Ashcraft and Aaron Nola. That to me is a decently good pitching matchup. Ashcraft has pitched really good this year for the Pirates early on. And Nola has had some good starts. He's had some bad starts. But we'll see what that does. At 6:45 tomorrow night, we've got the Blue Jays and the Tigers, and it's Trey Yesavage and Ty Madden. Yesavage is still somehow a prospect. I don't know how, because he hasn't graduated yet from the prospect rankings. But I feel like for the sake of this game, Ty Madden is the one to watch, because Ty Madden's last start he was the bulk pitcher. That means he came out of the bullpen after an opener. Let's see tomorrow night how the Tigers handle that. Also at 6:45 tomorrow night, we've got the Orioles and Nationals starting a 3-game series. Zach Littell, former Ray, Shea Baz, former Ray, on the mound for the respective teams. And at 7:10 tomorrow night, we've got the Reds and the Guardians. The Battle of Ohio. Tanner Bybee against Jose Franco. And that's going to be, Franco, I believe, is making his first start of the year for the Reds. And that's going to be a good pitching matchup. But the pitching matchups I want everybody to watch tomorrow night are as follows. First one is Jesse Schultz against Jansen Junk. The Rays against the Marlins. 7:10. I will have the call on my YouTube of that game, play-by-play for it, and a lot more. Red Sox and Braves. Strider against Early, and that game starts at 7:15. At 7:10 tomorrow night, you've got Logan Henderson against Joe Ryan. Brewers and Twins. 7:15 tomorrow night. You've got Cam Schlittler going against Clay Holmes. Yankees, Mets, in the Bronx. The talk of the town, and I'll get to it later on in the show, is about Juan Soto and what the Yankees are going to do every time he comes to the plate. Saturday, 1:10 p.m., Blue Jays and Tigers. Drew Anderson and Kevin Gausman. I think Gausman, he got riled up against the Rays. I think he's going to have a bounce-back outing against the Tigers here. Also on Saturday at 2:15, Royals and Cardinals go second game of their series. Kyle Leahy against Noah Cameron. That's going to be a good matchup. And then you got the Nats and the Orioles at 4:05 p.m. King Cavalli and Chris Bassett. I like that matchup too on the mound for the sole purpose. There might be a lot of scoring. Huh? I don't understand what you're trying to say. The good pitching matchups on Saturday are, first one is the Guardians and the Reds at 6:10, and it's Andrew Abbott and Gavin Williams. Good luck getting runs in that game. And you're going to put time out. The second good pitching matchup on Saturday is at 7:15 p.m. It is the Red Sox and the Braves, and it's Bryce Elder against Peyton Tolley. And those are the only two games. Oh, I skipped Saturday at 4:10, Rays and Marlins. Alcantara against Nick Martinez. And I'm going to say this. The Rays, underrated signing in the offseason of Nick Martinez, and it has worked out. It has worked out briskly for the Rays. Sunday, the pitching matchups are as follows. There's some really good ones. 12:15 on Peacock. You've got Yuri Perez and Drew Rasmussen. At 1:35, you got Zach Wheeler and Paul Skeens. Yeah, you heard me. Paul Skeens against Zach Wheeler on Sunday. And then at 1:35, you've got the Red Sox and the Braves wrapping up their 3-game set. And it's Brian Bayo against Grant Holmes. And for those of you, that wraps up the portion of the weekend preview, because we will have another weekend preview later today at 5:30 on the Around the Diamond podcast, where I will be joined by Brad Walker. But now we get to some news. So if you didn't hear a couple days ago, the Marlins put rookie top pitching prospect Robbie Snelling on the injured list with a UCL injury. And normally what that means when a guy's got a UCL injury is we all know that's going to mean he's probably going to need Tommy John surgery. And that's tough for somebody like Robbie Snelling. Because the Marlins just called him up, and they were hoping he could help with the early success they've had this year. And unfortunately, it looks like we don't know the timeline for when he's going to be back. But they do have Thomas White on the mend, which I wouldn't be surprised if we see Thomas White in the big leagues very soon. Some other news is the Gavin Lux, who the Rays traded for in the offseason from the Reds, has been shut down from his rehab assignment in Durham, now with a shoulder issue to go along with the hamstring problem he had in spring training. And I'm going to say this. This seems like another Hassan Kim situation, but we're not paying Lux a lot of money. So, plus, I think he's arbitration eligible this year. So, the Rays can still get him at cheap. But the other thing with that is it's giving Ben Williamson more time at second base along with Richie Palacios. Yes, that is true. At least the Rays do have depth in the farm system. And I think it's just a matter of time before they start calling up prospects. Gabe, I wish I could say that you're next up, but the Rays do have a deep farm system. And to the other person that said hi, how are you doing? Yes. I mean, the Rays can use some of that depth in the farm system to go out and trade for, I'm not going to say a big name because I know they're not going to do that. As a lifelong Rays fan, the Rays tend to not want to go out at the deadline and make a big-time move. But I think if somebody becomes available, we could see maybe a Yordan Alvarez. Because the Rays do need I like Yandy, but something seems off with Yandy Diaz. And if Yordan becomes available, I like the enthusiasm, Gabe. Yes. Maybe one day you will get called up to the big leagues. There's always one day for that. But to wrap up the Rays part of this, because I don't want to sit here on the show for 25 minutes to talk about the Rays, because I could and how good they've been. That's the video for another time. But just to wrap it up, the guy I want to highlight real quick is Ryan Vilade. Man, when the Rays got him in the offseason, everybody's like, who is this Ryan Vilade? He hasn't played a lot in the big leagues. And look what he's done. He's getting, I'm not going to say limited at bats, but he's getting at bats here and there. And he's producing. And I think Kevin Cash needs to really consider playing Ryan Vilade every day. If you're listening to the show, Kevin, please put Ryan Vilade in the lineup every day, starting tomorrow night against the Marlins. But to the next order of business, to the next order of business on the show, the Rays did take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, and they should have swept them, but they had some issues last night that I will not get into. But now we're going to get to the waiver wire. And the way this works is the waiver wire 2.0. It is guys under 80% rostered in fantasy baseball, and we do it from Yahoo because those are the most accurate add and drop. So the first guy I've got on the waiver wire today is Dalen Lyle of the Washington Nationals. And Lyle is 52% rostered. The Nationals, they have the top offense in baseball. I didn't think I'd say that at the beginning of the year. Yes, top offense in baseball. Brady House is humming right along. If he's available, if any Nats are available in your league, I would scoop them up before your league mates do. The next waiver ad is Clay Holmes of the Mets, 76% rostered. This might be a 1-week thing, or I might have to talk about him multiple weeks, and I will let you know after this segment about the website. But back to Clay Holmes. He might be a 1-week wonder on the waiver wire because he's 76% rostered. The next waiver wire is catcher guy you should add off the waiver wire is Ryan Jeffers, catcher of the Minnesota Twins. 52% rostered. If you need to have a catcher because you just lost Francisco Alvarez, or you have a guy like JT Realmuto or Cal Raleigh who's struggled through. Cal Raleigh just broke a long hitless streak, so don't look at me and say. And then the next guy is 39% rostered. It is Chase Dollander of the Rockies, and he's a starting pitcher. I would highly recommend adding Chase Dollander. Please do. And the last guy is Brooks Lee of the Twins, 42% rostered. Shortstop, add him now. Add all these guys now. And yes, I will have another full waiver wire video. Let me just go here. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share my screen for a minute with you so you can take a look at the website. my website. Sportsbreakdown.net. Welcome to Sportsbreakdown.net. Your ultimate sports destination. Explore the latest episodes, which would be... Oh, I gotta change that. Or, that's the YouTube channel. But we gotta redo that. But everything in sports. This one. And it's the one we're currently live on right here. This is the other thing. I will be doing a new full waiver wire. Waiver wire week 7. I'll be doing one for next week. Probably it'll be out Monday morning. So probably Saturday night. And this also is where you can see the prospect list and when I do my rankings for college football and the full slate of game picks for college football every week, as well as the upset meter and a bunch more. And the site is completely free, nothing to pay for. I'm a dabble at it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you haven't already. And remember to always have a wonderful day. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful day. I will see everybody at 5:30.